my name is Madeline, and welcome to this Yin Yoga practice for deep relaxation. So this practice will get into the entire body. It's great to do before going to sleep, or if you're just looking for some more peace and calm in your day. So to get started, we'll do a little bit of breath. We'll take 3 deep breaths, and then on the last one, we will do a retention at the top. And also, if you like to use props in your practice, you could grab a pillow or a couple yoga blocks, but not necessary to do practice at all. So let's get into that breath. You can exhale all the air out now. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Long sigh out the mouth. Taking an inhale through the nose. And this time holding at the top for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Exhale all the air out now. And then return back to your normal breath. And we'll do a little bit of movement before we get into the yin poses. So bring your hands to your knees to prepare for a seated cat-cow. And we'll inhale as we arch the spine up towards the sky. And then rounding the back as you exhale. And you can continue like this or take any kind of fluid movement that feels good. So maybe you want to take some circles in the body. Just listening to whatever your body is needing today. And whenever you're finished with your movement, no rush, we'll start to make our way into our first yin pose, which will be a banana asana. So you can turn on your mat and come down all the way onto your back. Legs out long, and then stretch those arms up above you as well. Shift the hips a little over to the left, making sure to keep both hip points on the ground. And then move those feet over to that lower right corner of the mat and the upper body over to the upper right corner of the mat. So you're in this banana-like shape here. If you'd like to go a little further, you can cross that left ankle over the right. Maybe grab that left wrist with the right hand. Option as well to take hold of opposite elbows if that arm position feels better for you. Just finding what works in your body. Maybe closing your eyes here. Just notice how the body is feeling. Taking deep breaths into that left side body. We'll take a few more breaths here. Take one last deep breath. If you had those ankles crossed, beginning to uncross them, letting go of the wrist if you were holding on, and then slowly shifting back into center. Pause here for a breath, and then we'll get into that other side. So this time, shifting the hips a little over to the right and walking those feet over to the lower left corner of the mat and the upper body over to the upper left corner of the mat. Option to cross the right ankle over the left and maybe grab hold of that right wrist with the left hand. So again, you're in this banana-like shape, both hip points on the ground. And breathing into that whole right side body. And we'll take a few more deep breaths here. Taking one last deep breath. And then slowly beginning to uncross the ankles if you had them crossed. Letting go of the wrist. And slowly making your way back to center. Pausing for a couple moments just on your back. And then hugging those knees into the chest. So maybe you want to rock a couple times side to side. Releasing that low back a little bit. And then whenever you're ready, we'll make our way up into a tabletop position. So you can roll back and forth on the mat if that feels good, or just get there any way that works for you. So once you're in this tabletop, you can take a couple cat-cows if that feels nice, or just make any kind of movement in the body that feels good for you. And whenever you're ready, return back to center. And this time we'll make our way down onto our bellies. So moving those knees back a little bit, coming down to the ground. And we'll prepare for a Sphinx pose. So bring those forearms on the mat, parallel with each other. And then look slightly ahead of you with that gaze. Option, if you have a block, to place a block underneath the forehead. Or if this just doesn't feel good, you can always rest your forehead on top of both of those hands, so you're still getting a lift in the chest there. Just listening to whatever the body is needing today. Remembering to breathe deeply. This can be an intense one to hold sometimes. And let's take a few more breaths here, trying to make them really deep. Take one last breath and slowly start to make your way back down onto your belly, using the two hands as a pillow for your forehead. And from here, start to draw that right knee up in line with the right hip, still resting on those hands. And pausing for a few moments, again releasing the lower back. Whenever you're ready, start to slide that right leg back in line with the left. And we'll press back up onto our hands. So really no rush getting here at all. Maybe you want to take a little bit of movement. And then return back to that neutral tabletop. So we're going to make our way into a deer pose now. So bring the left shin up in front of you, parallel with the top of the mat. And then that right shin is going to come down long ways on the side of the mat. So you kind of have these two triangle-like shapes here. An option, if you have a pillow, you can place it in front of you to rest on as we fold forward. And also option to use a block for your forehead. Again, if you don't have any of those things, don't need them. But making sure your legs are in these triangle-like shapes. Then whenever you're ready, start to fold forward over that left shin. And really try to let that head drop. Try to let the spine soften and round as you sink into this pose. Maybe with each breath, sinking a little further. Let's take one more deep breath here. And then start to slowly crawl back up onto those hands. No rush. It's a super relaxing pose. And shifting the hips back a little bit. You can stretch those legs out in front of you, maybe shaking them out a little bit. We're doing a couple of windshield wipers side to side. And then return back to center, and we'll do that deer pose on the other side. So this time that right shin is going to be parallel with the top of the mat, and then the left shin will be parallel with the side of the mat. So again, you have these two triangle-like shapes, and you should be feeling it in the right hip this time. Option if you have a pillow to place that in front of you, or to use a block for the forehead. So whenever you're ready, start to fold forward over that right shin, knowing that each side can look and feel really different. Again, let that head drop, let that spine round and soften, and just melt into the pose. Let's take a few more deep breaths here. Taking one last breath. And slowly start to crawl back up on those hands. Again, no rush at all. Maybe you want to reach those legs back out in front of you. Shake them a little side to side. Do a couple of windshield wipers. And hopefully you're starting to feel pretty relaxed by now. Whenever you're done with your movement, we'll slide those feet back, return back onto our knees to prepare for a wide leg child's pose. So bring the knees to the edges of the mat. And again, if you have that pillow, this would be a great place to place the pillow underneath you. And if not, all good. Just start to walk those hands forward. Drop that forehead to the mat. Maybe once you're here, rock that forehead slowly. A few times, side to side, can feel really soothing. Tapping into that third eye space. And then pausing in stillness whenever you're ready. Letting this child's pose be soft. You don't need to try to extend your arms super long. Just relax into it. And if you'd prefer to do a closed-legged child's pose with the arms back behind you, that's an option as well. And let's take a few more breaths. And take one more deep breath. And start to slowly press back up. No rush at all. Really taking your time. And sliding onto the hips. Stretching those legs out in front of you. And we'll come down onto our backs. Maybe you want to hug the knees into the chest, rock a couple times side to side, releasing the back a little bit. And then whenever you're ready, plant the soles of the feet on the mat And we'll prepare for a reclined butterfly. So bring the soles of the feet together and start to bring the knees out wide. So you have this diamond-like shape in the legs. An option to place a couple blocks underneath the knees. That can feel really nice. And letting the arms just fall out to the sides. And resting here. Maybe you want to close those eyes as we start to come towards the end of our practice. Remembering those deep breaths. And take one last deep breath here. Long exhale out. And slowly, if you're using blocks, beginning to release those. Bring the hands to the thighs and slowly draw the knees back in, bringing them into the chest. Maybe making some circles with those knees. And from here, take any final poses or movement your body is needing before we move into Shavasana, final resting pose. So maybe you want to take a twist, maybe a happy baby. Just listen to what the body needs. And then whenever you're ready, come to lie flat all the way down on your mat, really releasing into the earth, melting into the ground. And no rush getting here. Just allowing the eyes to close and the body to rest. And I encourage you to stay in the Shavasana as long as you can or as long as you like. If you're ready to close class, we'll close with one final breath. So exhale all the air out now. Take a deep inhale through the nose and a long sigh out the mouth. I hope you're feeling more relaxed and at peace after this class. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you'd like to see more Yin Yoga videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time.